Hello everybody, this is Lopamudra Banerjee, poet and author, translator from Dallas, Texas. April is the national or the global poetry writing month, and in the month of April it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce you to a beautiful book of translation of poetry titled The Game in Reverse. So the book of poems is a translated work by Carolyn Wright, who is a prolific and very famous poet and academician in America, and she translated into English some selected poems, very powerful feminist poems of Bangladeshi author Taslima Nasrin, who is also very popular and a bestseller author in her own right. I'm going to read two poems from the collection of poetry titled Boundary and Border. Both of them are very symbolic in nature. To give you an idea of the poems in the book, I'm going to read out from the back cover of the book, a little bit from that. The Game in Reverse is the first volume of Nasrin's poetry in English translation. Presented here are more than 40 of the poems that have generated both an international following and considerable controversy for the author. These poems illuminate such contentious subjects as the daily indignities and far-reaching repression suffered by women in Bangladeshi Muslim society. With her concise language and acerbic wit, Nasrin decries the physical and mental abuse inflicted on Bangladeshi women and enjoins society to consider its attitudes toward all victims of persecution, especially women. The first poem I'm going to read out from this collection is actually a translation of a poem which is part of Taslima's Amar Kichu Jai Ashena, I Couldn't Care Less, which is a volume of poems published between 1988 and 1990. The poem's title is Boundary. After she was enlightened and therefore wished to see the world's shapes and scents and colors, she wanted to step out over the threshold. They told her, "No, this wall is the horizon line. This roof terrace is your sky. This bed and bolster, scented soap, talcum powder, this onion and garlic, this needle and thread, lazy afternoons, embroidering red and blue flowers on the pillowcases, this portion is your life." When she opened the main gate's black padlock to see how much land there was to wander in on that far-off shore, they told her, "No, plant seedlings of shojne in the courtyard, spinach vine, bottle gourd, here and there, in various pots, 2 kinds of cactus, yellow roses. This courtyard with its smooth floor, this portion is your life." The second poem I'm going to read from the collection is Border. This poem is from Nirbashito Bahire Antore, Banished Without and Within. I'm going to move ahead. Behind me, my whole family is calling. My child is pulling at my sari end. My husband stands blocking the door. But I will go. I will go. There's nothing ahead but a river I will cross. I know how to swim, but they won't let me swim, won't let me cross. There's nothing on the other side of the river but a vast expanse of fields. But I'll touch this emptiness once and run against the wind, whose whooshing sound makes me want to dance. I'll dance someday and then return. I've not played keep away for years as I did in childhood. I'll raise a great commotion playing keep away someday and then return. For years I haven't cried with my head in the lap of solitude. I'll cry to my heart's content someday and then return. There's nothing ahead but a river, and I know how to swim. Why shouldn't I go? Why shouldn't I go? I'll go. I'll go. So both of these poems were read out from this stupendous collection of poems in translation, The Game in Reverse. The original poems in Bengali were penned by Taslima Nasrin, and the poems were translated by Carolyn Wright, an associate of Harvard University's Department of Sanskrit and Indian Studies. Caroline also received a prestigious award in 1993 to 1994 for outstanding translation from the American Literary Translators Association. So this was my humble rendition. Hope you liked it, and I would express my heartfelt thanks and gratitude to all my readers and listeners for listening to my humble renditions whenever I perform them, either on stage or in my YouTube channel.